Welcome back to Think, Create, Code. In our previous sessions, we looked at repetition in image drawing and how it can be achieved using for loops. In this session, we will look more closely at different for loops examples and what can be achieved with them. Remembering our last lesson, the for structure performs repetitive calculations and is structured like this. The brackets associated with the for structure enclose three statements: init, test, and update. The statements inside the block are executed continuously while the test statement is evaluated to true. The update is used to modify the variable in the init statement after each iteration. Let's say we want to draw 10 horizontal lines that are 60 pixels wide and 10 pixels apart. The starting point for the first line is x equals to 20 and y equals to 20. The first line we would draw would be like this, where 20, 20 is the start point and the second point is 80, 20 because we want the lines to be 60 pixels wide and horizontal. This implies that the x for the second point will be 60 pixels greater than the x for the first point, and that the y of the second point is the same as the y for the first point. For the next line, we would use this, because we want the lines to be 10 pixels apart, so the y for the 2 points needs to be 10 pixels greater. If we were to draw the third line, it will look something like line of 20, 40, 80, 40, and so on. We want to be smarter here though and use a for loop where we would be incrementing the y of each line with 10 pixels. The initial value for our y is 20 since we said that we want the line to start at 20, 20. The update statement is y equals to y plus 10. The test statement tells us when we can stop. We said that we will draw 10 lines 10 pixels apart. So if we start at y equals to 20, we will need to stop 100 pixels later at y equals to 120. Let's try this out. Another way in which we could write this is by using a number to count the number of lines and just updating y as we need it in the for statements. It's important to note that the variable that is updated in the for loop needs to be part of the test part as well. Otherwise, nasty things will happen. This is how it would look if we had a counter. Look at how we use the counter in the for loop just to count the number of lines we are drawing and how we have initialized y before the loop. Y is incremented by 10 after each line is drawn. Let's say we want to draw again 10 vertical points, 10 pixels apart, starting from x equals to 10, y equals to 10. Remember, if the points are vertical, it means that we will want them to have the same x value, and we simply change the y value. Try this out on paper first before jumping in the code. Write first the instruction to draw the first point, then the second, then the third, then think about how you can reduce these instructions using a repetition through a for loop. It will look like something like this. Ta-da!